Hello and welcome back to Green Money Momentum, where we talk about market movements, making money, and money momentum. I'm your host, Trevor, and we are here for yet another daily talk of stock. And it is Tuesday, May 27th, and the markets soared very green today. We did have the extended weekend, with yesterday being Memorial Day, and so there was a lot of anticipation for today, and it did not disappoint. We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of different plays that we have been talking about on this channel. We're going to visit the stock DJT, Trump Media and Technology Group, BigBearAI, ticker symbol being BBAI, then Soundhound with QBTS, D-Wave Quantum. And so these plays have been gaining a lot of value lately. And the reason why we look at these stocks is because they are smaller market cap to medium cap stocks. And so we're going to start out here with DJT. And in this play, we did have a red day today, but we did make some significant moves up. And so right now, the stock, as I record this video, just about an hour after market close, currently the stock is sitting at $23.52. And we see that the stock was negative today. We fell by 8%. And so an 8% drop in DJT, but that doesn't really tell the whole story, because this stock was actually pumping in the overnight market. And so earlier today, we were actually up 15%, up to $29.69. And with the big drop, again, we fell down to $23. But I personally see this as opportunity, and that is because of this. So in the last few months, we have been talking about how DJT is sitting at this major level of support here. And so with the stock, we could see over time how it has been a very high flying stock up in the 40s, 50s, 60s, but each time it fell back down, it fell right to these levels right around $21 to $27. And so we have bounced off this level multiple times, and the only times we have been under it was right before the election, and then most recently with the bad macroeconomic trends. But we have been sitting right around this major level of support for DJT. So right between $21 to $27. And what is really significant, you could see this line of support drawn out, line of support / resistance. Let's bring that up to around $27 here. Bring it to a perfect 27. We could see that earlier today, it did tap right above that line there. And so DJT is looking strong, and it does look like we could continue to see a lot more price momentum going in this stock, because this was big today. It did get rejected right by 27, but this stock is currently gaining a lot of value in the background. We're about to get into the news in just a second, but as you could see in the most recent weeks, we have been following right alongside this trend. And so just a thought with DJT, a lot of individuals look at this as just a meme stock, but there is so much more behind it. And with this big news right here, there is a possibility, and this is just a thought, that we do break out of this trend that we are seeing here. We are in what is considered to be a descending triangle. And when we break out of this, we may see a serious explosion in DJT. And so this stock runs a lot like a meme stock. Many look at this just as a meme stock, but as we have been talking about on this channel, we see it more because of the intrinsic value behind DJT. And well, this massive news came today. And so Trump Media is raising money to buy 2.5 billion. That is a bunch of money, 2.5 billion in Bitcoin. And so this stock right here has the chance to move like a meme stock. If there's a lot of hype and momentum, we could see the pop there. This stock also has a lot of opportunity to run off the true business that they are running, and then also with the cryptocurrency. And so this is why I wore the Bitcoin tie today, because of this announcement right here. And so this is absolutely massive. So as this news article writes, that this company said it would raise 2.5 billion from institutional investors to invest into Bitcoin, continuing its transformation from a social media company into a financial services and crypto play. And that's what we have been talking about all year long on this channel, even going it back into last year, is Donald Trump is bringing us more into the mass adoption into cryptocurrency. When we just just follow the storyline, this has been being talked about before he even got elected back into office. He was talking about the promises to the Bitcoin community, which were kept with the earlier crypto summit earlier in the year when we had that big White House event, and we could see Trump here and also the legend Michael Saylor. And so if you don't know who Michael Saylor is, he is the CEO of MicroStrategy, and his whole plan is to invest into Bitcoin, and those Bitcoin earnings will show up on the balance sheet of MicroStrategy. And MicroStrategy stock itself has seen a lot of momentum in the last year. So if you don't know about MicroStrategy, definitely take a look at it. It's a stock that we have covered on this channel before, but over the last years, this stock has seen a bunch of momentum. We could see dating back just in the last year, we were at 130, and right now the stock is trading at 370. So it trades a lot off of the momentum with Bitcoin, and that's what we could soon be seeing with DJT. So we had that big event, but then also we had this big news earlier this year, and that is the new Securities and Exchange Commissioner is Paul Atkins. And so he was selected by Trump. And when Trump got back into office, the former SEC chairman, the awful Gary Gensler, stepped down. And Gary Gensler was most remembered for how hard he was on cryptocurrency and putting the cryptocurrency XRP under lawsuit. And Paul Atkins, he is known for the opposite. So he is like a crypto bro, a lot more crypto positive. And so what we're seeing overall is we just saw Bitcoin reach an all-time high recently, and we are seeing the mass adoption into cryptocurrency. Again, if you have been following the storyline since last year, as we have, Trump is pushing us more into this mass adoption, and Trump Media and Technology Group is investing within that cryptocurrency. And so again, when we return to the stock DJT, I personally think that this is a really great value for the stock. You could get a share of this for just $23, and with Bitcoin soaring to new all-time highs, and with Trump Media and Technology Group looking to make a big investment into Bitcoin, you better believe that as Bitcoin rises, so will Trump Media and Technology Group alongside it. And the drawdown that we saw today, I think, is actually a blessing for investors and very positive. Again, I am loading up into DJT with a long-term position between $21 and $27 because over the long term, this is shown to be a major support line for this stock. And so right now, with the draw down that we saw from the highs early in the morning to now being at $23. Now we are sitting right in the middle on the RSI. And then when it comes to the MACD as well, the orange line and the blue line are right next to each other. And so this could signal a possible death cross where we continue to see negative momentum and we do see the stock push down. There is a possibility that we do fall below that $21 mark. But if that is the case, I wouldn't be too concerned, and I will only pick up more shares of DJT at this spot, because weeks ago when we were underneath that level earlier in April, I was calling that the stock was oversold. If you go back through my videos, you will see that, and I was adding to the play when it was in the teen range of numbers. And so with DJT, I am very bullish on it over the long term, and this is a play that I am just so excited for because Trump Media and Technology doing so many crypto investments. And so with DJT, we see a lot of potential in that stock, and with this stock, we see a lot of potential, and it just had a big pop today. And so as we can see with this level of resistance right here, Big Bear is right above that, and that is the line of 430 where Big Bear was previously rejected on this rise up. And so with Big Bear, it jumped by 23% today. We are currently at $4.49. So Big Bear sitting at a pretty major level of resistance right here. So Big Bear has been on this rising level of support. It has been trading decently sideways, but has been following right alongside this rising level of support. And with today's market open, we did have a big pop. So right now, again, we are at this major level of resistance right around $4.50. So with Big Bear, what we want to see is Big Bear continue to shoot up, reach 475 and go on from there. But with Big Bear, right now, when we look at the odds of where we are at, if we just calculate the potential reward to risk ratios, if you are not already in Big Bear, but just investing in Big Bear, you have the potential of a 130% upside just to the 52-week high, which was set earlier this year. And so if fear, uncertainty, and doubt gets really bad in the market, there is the chance that we do drop. But with Big Bear continuously rising, I don't think we would fall back down to this bottom on this rising level of support. So myself, I am very bullish on the Big Bear, and I believe that we will only continue to see more hype and momentum. As I was just talking about in yesterday's video, this week may be really big for the Big Bear, as we do have our big shareholder meeting coming next Monday. And so there could be a lot of hype for that event. And if Big Bear comes out and announces some really good news, especially around what a lot of the fear, uncertainty, and doubt in Big Bear has been, which is possible share dilution. If they announce that there won't be much share dilution, and if they just have a good forecast for the future, we could see this stock seriously start to soar up even more, because I really want to emphasize this. We were seeing this in another play that we're going to talk about here soon, D-Wave Quantum, and with QBTS, that stock shot up by more than 175% in less than a month's time. And that stock had a similar short interest of 20%. And so with Big Bear, there is currently 60 million shares being shorted. And so in total for retail trading, there are 291 million stocks available. And so 20% of that flow is being shorted. And where this is a great position for the bull and a scary position for the bear, not Big Bear, but a bear within this position, is if they have shorted Big Bear days like today, when the stock market soars up and everything is green and Big Bear shoots up 20%, movements like this really squeeze the shorts. And so just like D-Wave Quantum, what really popped that stock is the macroeconomic trends have been getting a lot better. And then they did have their big earnings report. And so dates matter within a stock. Many times you could look at an upcoming date as a big catalyst. And so next Monday, again, the big possible catalyst for Big Bear, I could see a lot of run up going into the event next Monday, and volume would show us the same, because when we look at the volume in Big Bear, we could see that as of most recently, the volume has started to pop within the Big Bear. Investors now hopping into the Big Bear again, possibly in anticipation for that event next Monday. And so with Big Bear, the way I have been playing this is with a lot of options contracts. And so if you missed my video from 2 days ago, I definitely recommend checking it out, because that video right now is aging like fine wine very well, because what I went over were my options contracts in Big Bear and my strategy. And so if you don't know about options contracts, check it out. But we're looking at this call right here. So I have a BigBearAI $3.50 call, which is set to expire on September 19th. And so just in the video that we made yesterday, we were under 100% return on investment. So total ROI, we were under 100%. And the whole video was talking about the strategy to consistently be making 100% return on investment. And well, literally in just a day, that is what happened. So if you check out my video the other day, you'll see the exact same call on screen. I believe we were up around 50%. And well, today we could see that we had a 50% jump in this options contract right here. And so options contracts, absolutely life-changing. And I'm just sharing this information with people for no cost, literally absolutely free. If you check my channel, if you look in my links, I'm not selling you anything. I have no courses to sell you. I'm already very busy with my business that I do in the day, and then coming on here and doing these videos. So I legit just talk about this out of passion, and maybe someday in the future I'll sell an ebook about my my investing journey. But as of right now, I'm not trying to sell a course or anything like that. So this is purely just free, true knowledge. All I ask is that you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. But this is why I love options, because the stock today jumped by 20%, but this options contract jumped by 50%. And so these options contracts just move so much more violently, and seriously, you can make some real life-changing plays, especially in these small to medium market cap stocks that we have been talking about on this channel. And so Big Bear had a big day. We're hoping to continue to see the momentum. And again, when we return to the candlestick chart, we are currently on this rising level of support. So even if we do see a bit of a sell-off tomorrow in the Big Bear, I think that will be positive as long as we stay up in these ranges around $4, because we are, again, just building on this upwards bullish trend. And so now talking about trends, the next stock that we're going to talk about here today is another play that did see some bleeding, and that is QBTS. QBTS went down to 1753, but if you have been following this play, this is a very small pullback for the momentum that we have been seeing. As you can see here with what I have drawn on screen, we saw that 184% upside all the way right up to the levels of right around $20. We have pulled back some, but with QBTS overall, I am very bullish in this stock for the long term, and this could just be a potential opportunity for new investors, because when we talk about the whole quantum computing sector and just that tech sector, we have after close on Wednesday NVIDIA's earnings, and so this could be a serious market mover, especially if they come out with some positive earnings. NVIDIA works some with quantum computing, and so if NVIDIA does have a big earnings, we could see the overall tech sector see a big jump as well, and that included the quantum sector. And so I think that will be a big mover coming up potentially. Otherwise, if we just look at the chart analysis currently right now, we are looking a bit overextended on this play. When we look at the last year in quantum, we were in these levels of rising support and rising resistance. Recently, we have broken out of that level of rising resistance, but I do think there is a chance that we could return back to this level here. But also, the market conditions lately have been pretty crazy, and so things have been very bullish lately, and so there is the chance that we do see a bit of a cool off in D-Wave Quantum. Maybe with Wednesday we do see a pop there, but I could continue to see D-Wave riding on these higher levels here. I personally don't know if we will ever return back to this range here, and if we do, I'll definitely buy more Quantum myself. But I think at worst, if we were to see really bad market conditions, something like that, we could maybe see QBTS go back to that rising level of resistance on the previous trend. But overall, yes, we are looking a bit overextended. The RSI is riding a bit high there, as well as the MACD. And in recent weeks, there's been a lot about quantum, a lot of their earnings and all that. So all that news has gone through. And so in the short term, we could see a bit of a cool off in quantum, just because there's not a lot of big events, at least in the short term. But I'll say what I always say, I'm a long-term bull in quantum. And just like we were talking about options contracts, the options contracts in this small movement in the stock were absolutely life-changing. So again, If you haven't seen the video from just a couple days ago, I really recommend checking it out. Some very valuable knowledge in there. And so we're going to finish here talking last about another big AI stock, and that is Soundhound. And what's funny is you could see this line here was actually previously drawn. So this is from a recent video of mine, and I was saying how with Soundhound, just like with BigBearAI, we have been on this rising level of support. And so Soundhound has been gaining some momentum. It would fall, but always return back to this rising level of support. With that rising level of support, kind of a rising resistance level being there. And so talking about options contracts, I purchased into Soundhound right at this spot, right under that rising level of support, because I was saying I personally am very bullish on Soundhound, and I don't see any reasons in the short term why Soundhound would sell down. But we were falling on the RSI, and then we were potentially seeing that death cross in the MACD that I was talking about earlier, but we're seeing some strength within Soundhound, and today the stock did have a 15% pop, so right back up to $15, which is huge because, again, when we zoom out and look at the long term, the major levels that Soundhound was bouncing at for a long while was between $11 and $15, and so with the moves today, Soundhound is rising right back to those levels up to $12 to $15. I said 11, I meant 12. So right to $12 to $15. And again, talking about options contracts, mind blowing. I purchased my options contracts right around here, and this small movement has already put them up, no joke, 50%. So just to prove I'm not joshing you here, you could see it on screen. I still have the contracts right here. We could see that 92% jump just today alone, 54% total return. So I was a little bit down on this play, but just like that, I am up 50%. So in my video from a couple days ago, this comment, I'm going to put it here on screen. He was not too happy because I covered the numbers on the total return when it comes to dollar signs. But the reason why I am doing that is because what I'm really trying to drill into everybody's head, it's not about the dollar amount, it's about the return on investment percentage wise. With these options contracts, the percent movements are just so much more crazy. And so it's not about the dollars. It doesn't matter whether this options contract here I have on screen is a $10 return on investment or whether it's a $100,000 investment. We're not focused on the dollars. We're focused on the results with the return on investment. And that's what I really, above all, want to leave everybody with here today is just that advice. If you are investing into the markets, whether you are new into the markets or have been here for a while, always think about your return on investment, how much risk you have in the markets. Try not to be over leveraged and really try to develop a really, really nice strategy, something that you can follow and be disciplined with it. And really, again, focus on what your money is actually returning. Because if you were just focusing on the dollar amounts, well, it doesn't matter if you have $100 or $1 million in the stock market. If you're going to lose money, you're only going to lose money at a bigger rate with bigger numbers. And that's why I don't talk about the actual dollar amounts, because that's not what matters. Actually, nowadays, so I have multiple different investing accounts, but with Robinhood, I'm mainly playing with options contracts, and I plan on never depositing money into Robinhood again. And in the last few months, I have been withdrawing a lot of money within Robinhood, just showing that it is all about strategy. Because in the past, years back, I used to deposit so much money into Robinhood, and it would be very frustrating because it would be like endless deposits with just empty results, which would just equal in me having to continue to work harder. Nowadays, it's the complete opposite. Because of the investments doing well and because of having a proper strategy, I'm able to just use Robinhood as a money withdrawal, as like a free money printer essentially. And so Again, with all this knowledge, I'm really just truly just giving it out for the passion. And so if you don't know about options contracts, I seriously recommend checking out that video from a couple days ago. And then going back to the stocks that we talked about today, I am very bullish on all of these plays. Currently, I think DJT is right at a very solid spot to add while the stock is low, especially because, again, we are going into the mass adoption into cryptocurrency, and Trump media and technology group is investing right alongside of that, with the president of the United States being one of the biggest movers in all of this right here. And then BBAI, I continue to see the momentum with Big Bear. I am personally holding a big portion of my position at least until Monday. So we'll see how the markets finish this week. But as of right now, I'm holding on to my Big Bear. When it comes to D-Wave Quantum, again, I am a super bull on Quantum over the long term. I think we could see a little bit of a cool down, but I am very excited for what's ahead. And then finishing off with Soundhound, super bullish on Soundhound as well. I can't believe that my options contract is already up 50% on that play. So I took a small position on that, but regardless, I can't be mad about making money. So I would be curious to hear what everyone else's opinions about these stocks are. If you're bullish or bearish, if you're invested, what you think about the macroeconomic news. So please drop a comment in the section below. Please leave a like, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. I thank you guys all so much for being here again for this daily talk of stock, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great day.